Welcome to the show, everyone. You know, this show is all about everybody else but me, and I really love that about this show is that it's got great information for people out there. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We'll share the show later on. My first guest has been on with me once before. I have with me Thomas White. He's the owner of Premier Inspector Group. I want you to tell first a little bit about yourself, what you do, and kind of what makes you stand out in the industry for what you do.
Yes, ma'am. So Thomas White, owner of Premier Inspector Group. First and foremost, I'm a veteran. And I think one of the things that really helps us stand out in the industry is bringing that veteran background of things being structured, things having an order and a place, and applying that to home inspections. Real estate can be this daunting process that a lot of people get really stressed out about. And truly, when you break things down into systems and aspects of a home, it's really not that complicated. And we're specialists at that.
Well, first of all, thank you for your service. I have
It's my
thanked you
pleasure.
before with that, and I really appreciate that. And how you're bringing what your training and how to be disciplined and you say yes ma'am to me I don't know how many times, but it just it exudes from you.
Thank you.
And so it's how you run your business.
Correct.
And it's important because a lot of people, you know, when it comes to all of this, there's a structure to it, right?
Sure.
To help them, and they want to get the most that they can for their homes and this and that, right? That's
Correct.
just the way it is. You are 5-star rated everywhere, and I want you to be able to talk a little bit about that too.
Thank you. Yeah, so we've amassed a pretty good team of inspectors, and that I think shows through our software reviews, through our Google reviews, through Better Business Bureau, because that comes from you guys, that comes from the consumer, that comes from the agents we work with. They're very diligent about telling people how their experience was, and so time and time and time again, we've gotten to the point now where we've amassed literally thousands of 5-star reviews.
So when you work with people, you are statewide,
Correct.
okay, and you're both residential and commercial.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, before you came on, we also talked a little bit about the fact that you do a 25% discount for all veterans and first responders as well.
Correct.
Right? And you also said to me that before as well that you are raising the bar in your industry, because you know we know that there are other people out there that do what you do, but
Yes.
you're raising the bar. And how are you doing that?
Yeah, so when I talk about trying to raise the bar within home inspections, I think that, you know, I have the luxury of listening to agents that have utilized other companies and other services. And it's not to badmouth anybody else in the industry, but really what it is to take in that critical info and figure out how we can improve and how we can get better. So I don't mind constructive criticism at all. I actually think that's part of what helps us stand out and be great. And a lot of times, different agents and different clients, they'll call and they'll want to know, not only do I want my home inspected, I also want a termite inspection. The house also has a pool. It also has a detached dwelling. It also has solar panels, or, you know, they want a sewer scope. You know, so at that point, you're calling a plumber, you're calling a solar specialist. They're trying to amass this little network to really deep dive on their home, and all of those services, mold and air quality as well, we can do all of those in-house. We're all certified. We all take extensive amounts of training to make sure that we're up to current standards on all of those things. So when somebody calls us, we just one-stop shop it. The answer is virtually never no, because we can do it.
That's awesome, because now they're saving money.
Correct.
And that's and time, money and time.
Yes.
As well. Their phone number to call is 602-989-4560. You can check them out on their website. It is inspectwithpremier.com, statewide, both residential and commercial, rated with the Better Business Bureau, 5-star rated everywhere, and they also give a 25% discount for all veterans and first responders. So let's talk about stories, because one of the, you know, there's some stories out there when people are going into some of these, like you going into some of these homes that are kind of scary. So what's the scariest structural issue that you've ever uncovered during a home inspection?
So I did an inspection down on Dayton Street, south part of Phoenix, and I noticed that there were termite tubes just littered throughout the house. A lot of them under some of the windowsills, and I was like, man, what in the world is going on? Like, I've seen termites. We've all seen termites. They're native to the soil here in Arizona. So it's not if you get them, just when. But it finally got to the back side of the inspection, so we've been there for 2.5 hours, and so now we're gonna go up in the attic. So we go up in the attic, and there are literally hundreds of termite tubes just dangling from the trusses all throughout.
Ewy.
Reach up to try to, kind of hoist yourself a little further just to get a good flashlight, view of the attic. And the truss starts to crumble in my hand. And again, you just start looking deeper, you see multiple trusses that are broken. So structurally now impacting the integrity of the roof structure itself. Which is kind of coincidental, because then I start thinking back, well, I was just walking on the roof and I noticed there's some soft spots around. Just thinking that, I've had soft spots on roofs before. Sometimes it's just the sheathing is old, it's time for a roof replacement, but not to the point to where the actual truss system of the home is impacted. So now the client wants to know, well, how do we fix this? Because it's easy to identify problems, but can you also connect a solution to the problem? Okay, well, yeah. Now what I need to do is I need to connect you with a structural engineer that we know, that we refer out. And so essentially what needs to happen now is an engineer needs to design a new truss system for this house, because we now need to remove the entire roof structure
Wow.
of the home
That's
to
a
have
big
that
deal.
replaced. Huge deal, huge deal. So that home actually happened to be owned by a private equity firm that specializes in rehabbing homes. They probably have never stepped foot in the house. They just saw that on paper, this looks like a property that we can make money on. So they rehabbed the home, but really didn't deep dive it to see how extensive the termites were. But yeah, now there's a far
huge
bigger issue.
Problem. But this also talks about, when people are, they flip homes.
Correct.
Right? A lot of people buy them from out of state. They never see them,
Yes,
right? Sometimes people don't have inspections either.
correct.
A lot of times, because they think they're saving money.
Right.
Or they're trying to anyway. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we do work with some investors that are located either locally or abroad, right? So outside of the state. So what I always advocate for, and they don't always bite on it because a lot of investors think they're smarter than we are. But yeah, a minimal investment, $300, $400, $500. It's very easy to hire us. We can go in and actually assess these big major systems of a home before they actually make that purchase and are on the hook for something that could cost, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000.
The number to call is 602-989-4560. They are statewide, both residential and commercial. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau, 5-star rated everywhere. It's the weekend. A lot of people, that's beautiful here right now too.
Yes.
A lot of your family members were just in town and they all want to live here because it's so beautiful, even though it's cold today, right? And they all want to, you guys, you got to get the houses, you've got to get them inspected.
Yes.
Their number again is 602-989-4560. They also offer 25% discount for all veterans and first responders. We're going to go to a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk further. We're still live in this room.
Okay.
Okay. So, like this one a little bit better?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
You're not, okay. So, I think that what I really want to get out is, again, a lot of people too, especially when it was coming to with the rates, right?
Sure.
They were trying to, the rates were going up, so let's do this. And they play with the inspection part of it,
They do.
right? And I just think that's crazy, because how could you buy a home without having it inspected?
Yeah, so this past year with rates higher, what we actually saw were a lot of buyers that would use the inspection to back out of a deal. And then they'd go under contract on a second house, back out again. We were
Oh.
doing inspections sometimes 3 or 4 times for the same buyer. Now, on the inverse side, when rates were really low, there were 8 or 10 offers all in on the same house. And so then what was happening was the opposite. In order for them to get the house, they'd waive their inspection and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
say,
yeah.
yep, we'll take it.
Right.
So
That was it.
I've been on both sides of it.
Yeah, I just don't understand. And when it comes to termites, yeah, like you said, it's not if, it's when.
Correct.
And a lot of people don't even have that. I mean, you know, even on a regular basis. We talked about maintenance, you know, because I have plumbers come on and whatever, and we talk about maintenance, even marble, we were talking about it just the other day, your granite. You know, people need to maintain these things. Who thinks about that when you buy a house, right?
Nobody
Right?
tells you.
And the same thing, now you're gonna have your house, you're to sell your house. Better find out what's going on
For sure.
in that house, so that you might have to fix some things, but it's better to do that, or what do you think?
So we actually give every one of our clients a home maintenance checklist.
Good, I was gonna ask you,
Yep.
what do you do?
Yep. So we have folders that have a bunch of flyers for vendors that we've vetted over the years, but we also give them that home maintenance checklist, and it's broken down by the season. So spring, fall, winter, summer, and it gives you about 7 or 8 items that every homeowner should do at the beginning of each season, so that way they can stay on top of their
That's
basic
awesome.
maintenance.
Now I have an idea, but I can't do it this time, I'll have to wait if you do come
Okay,
back.
okay.
Yeah, but, you know, we're gonna talk about that when you come back,
Sure.
okay?
Okay.
Because, that's important for them, and a lot of people don't even realize that we do have seasons here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It goes from comfortable to hot as balls.
Yes. Okay, ready?
Yep, ready.
So welcome back. You know, during the break, we always talk to Facebook Land when we're on a 30-minute segment. And I was talking with Thomas, and I was talking about some of the things that people don't do, which is getting an inspection is one of the first things sometimes that they try and get around, right? And I really don't understand it. I talked about that. But you said that you do something that's kind of cool, that you have a home maintenance checklist and it's seasonal. I want you to talk about what it is that you do seasonal here in Arizona. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so every time we close on a deal with a client, we give them a folder that has a bunch of contacts to vendors that we've vetted in the valley over the years. But also from us, we give them a home maintenance checklist. So yes, it's broken down spring, summer, winter, fall. And essentially, it gives you about 7 or 8 items at the beginning of each season to take care of around the house. You know, sometimes it can be a little daunting when you're, if nobody's ever explained to you what normal home maintenance looks like. You know, if you drive a car, you change the oil every 3,000, 5,000 miles, but nobody really tells you about what you should do around the house. So that's something that we provide to our clients, and it's just, very simple. Just go down the list and stay on top of these items.
Be on top of what you purchased.
It's a huge
Take
investment.
care of it. Pride of ownership, right?
Correct.
But the other thing too is that people just don't think about it. They just, they don't think about their water heaters. They don't think about their plumbing. They don't think about the roofs because they don't look at it, right? So, you really do have to have these things inspected and make sure that they're all maintained. You've got a lot of different stories here that you've been
For sure.
through. Let's talk about this one. The scariest structural issue you've ever uncovered. Is that the first one?
I think
No.
that's the one we
Okay, that
just
was
did.
the first one.
Yep.
Okay. So the second one here, okay, here's one. What's the most dangerous electrical problem you've ever seen in a house?
Yeah, so they kind of go hand in hand, but I would classify them the same. So houses built probably in the mid 80s and older, all the way into the 50s. There were 2 brands that were very common. One would be Federal Pacific, and the other would be Zinsco. Zinsco ended up being acquired by Sylvania, and that, I could go down the list of all that is. But essentially what it is, so those are two manufacturers, Zinsco and Federal Pacific, that essentially went bankrupt because they manufactured breakers and panels that would not trip at the rated amperage. Okay.
And you guys have them.
We have them all over the valley.
Wow.
All over the valley. So anytime you're buying an older home, so think,
And people want them.
correct, so think about the mid-80s and older. If that panel has never been upgraded, you really need to take a close look at it and see if it is a Federal Pacific. It'll also say Stablock. Or Zinsco. The really easy way to tell if you have one of those is it kind of just looks like Skittles through all over your breakers, because the breakers are a bunch of different colors: red, green, blue, yellow. It's just kind of like the rainbow on your breakers. But yeah, they don't trip at their rated amperage, so they're major fire hazards. And replacing a panel can run you about $10,000.
Where else but on Networking Arizona are you going to learn about this? I'm telling you, it's awesome. I mean, but a lot of people out there, you do have older homes. Check them out. How old are they? How do they know if they need to do that? If it's that old, you better start looking.
For sure.
Absolutely. Now, their phone number is 602-989-4560. Check them out on their website. It's inspectwithpremier.com. Okay? What's the worst hidden plumbing issue you've ever discovered?
So one of the services we offer are sewer scopes. So again, once we start looking at older homes, now we're probably going to go mid-70s and older. A lot of those houses are going to be plumbed with either cast iron on their main sewer laterals, sometimes on their branch lines as well. Or once you get further into the main sewer lateral, another material called Orangeburg. Orangeburg is essentially a paper material. It's been layered with glue. And initially it was intended to be kind of flexible, but long story short, those materials have a service life of about 40 to 50 years. So by now, all right, it's 2026, and they're still underground. They are absolutely past their service life. They crack, they fissure. Cast iron builds up like clogged arteries, rust on the inside, and it just gets smaller and smaller.
Wow.
They can produce what they're called tubercules, but they're kind of like stalagmites in a cave. Okay, so they catch all sorts of debris. They're just essentially you're just waiting for a clog. You're going to take a shower one day and everything's going to be backing up. So these are things that we can catch on an inspection. Tens of thousands of dollars worth of repairs would be needed if that's on a home that you're buying.
And if you are checking this out on maintaining, you'll know if you're going to buy an older home. First of all, if you're buying an older home, you really have to have it inspected. There's just too much
I agree.
there, right? I mean, really, it doesn't matter, but really, older homes,
Yeah.
even worse.
And we're here to protect the consumer, literally. That's why
what you
we
do.
exist.
Exactly. Now, okay, have you ever inspected a home where the HVAC the system looked fine, but then on the surface it was good, but then on the bottom it wasn't?
Yeah, for sure. So we always inspect the HVAC, and I'll kind of go on two different fronts with this. Sometimes we'll check the cooling. Cooling's fine. Swap it over to heat. It's a gas furnace, and the heat doesn't work, which normally wouldn't be a big deal in Arizona. Today and tomorrow, it's going to be in the 30s. I've already had text messages from people saying, "Hey, my heat's not working. Who do I call?" But one of the most common things that I find are in homes where people have replaced their HVAC, and most homeowners aren't going to go in the attic and look at the work that the HVAC contractor they hired actually did. So what I find fairly often are HVAC contractors that actually cut the trusses, which impacts the structural integrity of the roof, in order to make the air handler fit, which again it's a major issue. So with engineered trusses, you can't make any cuts, cores, modifications. You can't do anything to it without approval from a structural engineer and drawings on how to make the necessary repairs. So by and large, there are contractors out here in the valley that they'll just cut it, make it fit, and then walk away. and before you know it, somebody's home is experiencing roofing issues, and they have no idea that that big sag that they have is related to the HVAC system that they thought they were getting a great deal on, but a lot of times that great deal isn't as good as they thought.
Right. Now, I want you to also talk a little bit about your in-home and how you can cover a lot of different areas for them under one roof.
For sure, yeah. So we offer a multitude of services. So not only just new builds, so we can do new build construction from the foundation to the pre-drywall to the final walk to your 1-year warranty that's mandated by the ROC that the builder honor. Then we can go to resale inspections. We can do detached dwelling inspections, so casitas, ADUs, stuff like that. We can do manufactured homes, commercial buildings. So commercial buildings could be anything from a restaurant to a warehouse to a storefront, anything, literally. Hotels, luxury high rises, you name it. Then you get into sewer scopes. Obviously, we mentioned that. We can do that as well. Termite inspections, pools, and then mold and air quality. That's one that gets overlooked because we have a very dry climate. But a small water leak can really add up to a pretty bad mold problem. We don't run into it a lot, but I would say probably 25-30% of the time when a client wants a mold and air quality assessment, we go in and we do find mold in the home, which would then you have to get with a remediation company, and then they have to go in and do their work.
Well, for the people that are listening right now, what would be your final words to everyone there?
Sure. Final word, I would say just understand that my industry exists just to protect your investment. You know, houses right now, with the way rates have gone and home prices, these aren't, $56,000 homes anymore. We're looking at $500,000 homes, and that's entry level. $300,000-$400,000 is a lot of money. But then even in the $1 million plus price bracket, we even service those clients as well. But truly, we're here just to protect your investment, to give you actionable information so you know what you're walking into.
The last time you were here, you said anywhere from a high end to the lowest of lows.
Correct.
Right, but the homes have to be inspected, no matter what. And even, can you just call you if they just want a termite?
For sure.
So you see, and these things are. I'm sorry, I wouldn't wait, especially when we're here in the summer. If you haven't, it's been a while and you haven't had your home inspected, please do so. They are 5-star rated everywhere, rated with the Better Business Bureau. They work statewide. They're both residential and commercial. They give 25% discount for all veterans and first responders. You can check them out on their website. It's inspectwithpremier.com or call them at 602-989-4560.